Okay, Tom, it's your show.
Good morning and good afternoon to so many people out there that are watching the Ask Joseph Land Insiders Club show today. And we're excited each and every one of you are here. You know, it's an amazing deal when so many people with great minds come together to share information, to share what they do, and to make an impact on our world today. You know, recently I had a lot of conversations with people that I do business with, and the question I keep mentioning the Ask Joseph Land Insiders Club show and the club itself and all that other. And I tell them about Joseph Land, and I tell them about how that he has built $1-million companies, you know. But I also mentioned the idea that he played for the Los Angeles Dodgers as a catcher. You know, and instead of asking me questions a lot of times about the companies he built, they want to ask baseball questions. They want to ask me about what about his career in baseball? Well, what about this? You know, and I'm thinking, okay, that's great. So today we want to talk about let's play ball, okay, and what that means in business, and relate that to how each and every one of us can learn lessons from Joseph Land and his career in baseball, because you realize that Joseph started a career in baseball at a early age. He didn't just start, you know, when he got older and got into the Dodgers. He actually started a lot younger than that. So there's lessons to be learned in the parallel between business and baseball. So today I'm going to turn it over to Joseph Land, and I want him to start talking to us about what it is that is so attractive about playing baseball.
Well, thank you, Tom. And it's great to have everybody on the show today, and very excited about today's production. But Tom, I want to turn this back on you a minute, and I want you to, you're one of the most incredible guys I know, and you have been such a blessing in my family's life and my life personally. And it's amazing what you do. Tom, can you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself? I want to tell you guys that his client base, he represents the top of the top entrepreneurs all across the globe, not only in the United States, but all over. And a lot of the articles that you see about me, he's responsible for all of that. And he's just an amazing human being. And he's getting ready to do something really special. And you're talking about an entrepreneur having a dream. This man's got a huge dream, but he's getting ready to do something really special with satellite TV and having his own TV show, and a lot of cool things that are happening. So Tom, I want to take the first 10 minutes of this call for you to tell people about Tom Chesser and Rise Up Marketing and Media.
I appreciate that. I didn't expect this today, because really this is all about us together being a tribe of people come together to give people great advice, and they can ask questions. But I appreciate that, Joseph. I mean, and also I appreciate the review that you put on me when I mean, the testimonial that you left on the media and in that article that I just published out with Dame Doria. That was phenomenal. Thank you so much. I couldn't have asked for a better referral or a better endorsement than I got from you. And I've been doing media and marketing for over 30 somewhat years, you know, and it just had developed into, you know, being able to get people a ton of exposure, to get them seen and heard all over the world for the power of who they are, through validation, through third-party recognition, through major media sites. You know, I'm blessed to be able to do this. It is really a God thing to me. It is really my ministry. It's my life. But latching on to people like you and the people that are on the screen today is really where my superpower comes from. My superpower is by association with people like you, because those are the stories that I write that everybody wants. You know, and right now your story is hotter than hot and on fire. And Lit Magazine wants to do the cover and do an article and then do the TV show on the Los Angeles Tribune, you know, and all that stuff. So there's so much opportunity out there for you and what these people behind you are doing. And one thing that I know about you is you are a team player, my friend. There's nobody I could ask better to be on my team, and there's no place else I'd want to be than be on your team. You know, because this is an all-star team. This is a winning team, and you have got the capability to make things happen. And that's the reason it's such a privilege to work with you on the show, the Insiders Club, and just really, man, just out here telling people how great this is. And I could go up there now and talk about everybody on this show. You've got 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐏𝐇 that's right here. And hi, 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐏𝐇. I'm going to say hi to you because she has Lit Magazine worldwide. Okay. And the TV show. So she is phenomenal in her own right. And I am so tickled to death to be working with her and to promote you and tie the knot and tie everything together. So 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐏𝐇, thank you for being on the show today. You can unmute yourself, girl. We want to talk to you as well.
Oh, hello. And my apologies for my tardiness. I am at jury duty. However, we're on a really quick break, and I thought I would not miss the honor of coming on. Tom had invited me, so my sincere apologies. A lot going on in the background, and because it's a criminal case, they will not let me come on camera right now. However, I did want to come in for a few moments, say hello. I just honor Tom Chesser and letting you all know, yes, I am the owner of Lit Magazine worldwide. I also am an executive producer on multiple television shows, and he thought that it would be a great idea to meet not just Joseph Land, but the rest of you as well. And so I just wanted to say hello really quickly and just give that honor, and more importantly, listen as much as I possibly can. So if I drop off, my apologies in advance. And just wanted to say hello. So hi, Tom.
Hello and welcome to the show. You're more than welcome to ask any questions, say anything. This is about collaboration as well as just not one man's show. It's all of our shows. So that's why it's the Insiders Show, because you're now inside with us. Okay. So yeah, so there's great opportunities for each and every one of us out here today to really stand up and speak up and show up that we've never had before. And the internet is one of those things right now that people turn to every day. When you look up something, you go to Google. You don't have a phone book anymore to look up. You go to Google. So writing these media-worthy stories about all these players has been a privilege of mine. And I really thoroughly enjoy that opportunity to take that really with a huge thank you. So it's just what we do, right? It's what we do. And each and every one of us has something that we do that can add value to somebody else. So I always tell people all the time, you're a miracle, but you're also somebody else's miracle. I want you to understand that. So I don't want this show all to be about me. I came here today because I'm telling you what, every time I'm out here talking about Joseph Land, every time I'm mentioning him, and I do it all the time, is a situation. Now it comes back to some subject that is dear to his heart and everybody's interested in, is lessons learned from a baseball players, and really lessons learned from a catcher behind the plate. And what it takes to play at that level, not only to play at that level, but actually you don't realize people don't realize, the power of the catcher and the power of that position and the power of what you have to do in order to play at that level. So I wanted to start this series. Behind home plate and ask Joseph Land and talk about let's play ball. Now, let's play ball means we're playing ball in business, folks. This is real. Game on. Game on. So it's time to get good advice and sound advice from people that are playing the game and at a high level. And each one of you are playing your game at a high level. And that's really what today's show is all about. So Joseph, I'm gonna let you take this back over, my friend, because everybody's asking me about what you did and how you did it and how you got. And I just couldn't stop talking, but let's have the conversation now with you, my friend.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom. And 𝐒𝐿𝐄𝐏𝐇, it's an honor to have you on this call. And I know you're working on jury duty there. I can't wait to have a one-on-one with you and hear more about you and what you're doing. Tom has told me so many wonderful things about you. So I'm honored that you would come on our show today. And I look forward to having you speak to us more and more about who you are and what you do, because I'm so impressed with you. But for the rest of us, I wanted to say one more thing about Tom. Tom alluded to a recommendation I wrote for him. And it was with my heart that Jennifer and I wrote a recommendation for us. And some of you don't know, I mean, when I'm spending time with you, I also have a business of my own. And JL Capital Group does business all over, and we do finance and things and investments. And so, we do business in Dubai and China and, all over, and Philippines and all kind of places. And we even do some business in the United States. I'm just teasing. But I told Tom, I said, the single biggest impact that's happened to JL Capital Group this year has been him, and his recognition of our staff and what we do and our team and those kind of things. And it's just amazing that one particular point in your life, someone can show up that can make a huge difference in your life. And it's the same with baseball. One player can show up on the team and make a whole difference. Let me go back to football a minute. Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just one person changed the whole culture, and they won the Super Bowl and should have actually won another one had that pass not been completed behind on the last few seconds of the game. But that was just poor defense. But Tom Brady changed the whole culture. And see, that's what I'm about. I believe that I can walk into a company and change the culture. I am doing it right now, presently in a friend's company, and they're seeing great success. They were thinking that they had to borrow money to be successful, and I told them no. They had the cash flow to be successful if they were more disciplined. And so after painfully listening to me for 3 months, they're cash flowing positively for the first month ever. And they didn't have to borrow any money. And so that's what I do. And, I remember going back to baseball, Tom, and I remember, see, you have to have a dream. And I remember as a kid, now let me paint this picture for you. Growing up in a small town, my father worked in a mill, and we lived in a house that was furnished for us by the mill. My father didn't own the house. It was furnished to us by the mill. And so we didn't have air conditioning. We had a big fan that you go to bed sweating, you wake up cold kind of night. And I remember when I went into my little tiny room at night, I would have my baseball glove and I would have a ball, and I would throw the ball up in the air and catch it, throw the ball up in the air and catch it, throw the ball up in there and catch it, over and over and over. And sometimes I would catch it and close my eyes, and I would dream that I was playing in the ninth inning of the baseball game at Dodger Stadium. I could smell the popcorn. I could hear the vendors in the stands. I could see it. I could visualize it. And that's what happens in a business. You have to see it. When I started my transportation company, I remember telling someone, not only am I going to have a location in Florida, I'm going to have a location all over the country. Location, because if I can do it here, I can do it everywhere. And they said, "Oh, you're just a dreamer." And I said, "Exactly. That's what I am. I'm a dreamer, because that's what I learned playing baseball, to dream." Who would start in a rented house that furnished by the mill and end up building a $200 million company? You got to have a dream. And so I remember this is going to really get you guys fired up. I want to give you an analogy about baseball. I want you to write this down. Let's just say you're playing on a major league team today, and you're batting 250. Write that down, 250. That means that if you go to bat 12 times, you're going to get 3 hits out of 12. You're going to bat 250. And in today's wages in the big leagues, if you made the team and you're batting 250, you're going to probably make about $2 million a year. And you know what? 250 is really not a great hitter, not in the bigs. But if you were a really good hitter and you were batting 320 or 330, That means that you got one more hit in those 12 at bats. Listen to this. That means you were getting 4 hits out of 12 instead of the 3 hits out of 12 that the 250 hitter was getting. So you get one more hit in 12 at bats and you make $20 million a year in today's wages in the big leagues. Isn't it amazing how one little thing can change everything for you? So one more hit will make you $18 million. One little thing in a business will change your life forever. It's amazing, isn't it, Tom?
I muted myself, but yes, absolutely amazing, because one little thing, and each one of us had that one little thing, that epiphany that tells us to do something else, to make something more valuable, to make ourselves even more valuable, and that value added proposition that each and every one of us do that. So think of the one more thing. Just think of one more, because once you do one more, it will magnify and multiply all over the place. So, being a catcher, Joseph, if you were behind home plate, and I get this question asked me all the time, a catcher has to see the whole game. The catcher has to read the signals from the pitcher. The catcher has to direct traffic out on the field. The catcher needs to know who's on first and who's going to steal second. The catcher also needs to know who's leading off and who's leading on that. The catcher is the one that communicates to the pitcher what pitch needs to be put across the plate next. The catcher's responsibility is to stop anybody getting across home plate safe. Okay, so your responsibility as a catcher is so magnitude. I mean, I just couldn't, the pressure that must be upon your mind and your eyes and everything that you're looking at. Tell us about how that, all that and some of that relates to business today as we see it.
Well, as the catcher, you see the whole game as it plays out before you. And what a lot of people don't understand about business as it relates to baseball is you just don't go play the game. You prepare to play the game. If you're playing a team today, you know what each one of those hitters likes to hit. You know what they don't like to hit. You know what they're going to do at 3-1, and you know what they're going to do at 3-2, and you know what they're going to do if they like to hit the first pitch. And all of those things related to baseball. And ladies, I hope I'm not boring you with baseball analogies today. But write some of these things down. The first thing in being successful in the business as it relates to baseball is choosing the right team.
Mm-hmm.
And the way baseball players do it is they go to spring training. They work. They train all off season and they lift weights and all the things, and they get themselves in shape to play baseball. And as they're doing that, as they're training, as they're in spring training, they're deciding who the right people are for the right positions on the team to make the team a great team. Does that make sense? So choosing your team in business is so important, and it's a working process all the time. But it's just like baseball. Why do you think people get traded from one team to another? Well, the teams are trying to upgrade their talent, and they're trying to upgrade their performance. And the same thing in business. People come and go. And I remember one time in business that I had a very valuable associate wanted to start his own business and compete against me. And I gave him my blessing and wished him well, because I felt like I was pretty good at what I did too. And, sometimes I like to say that the grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence when you're dealing with people. And a lot of times when people work within your system, if it's a good one, they see the greener grass and they get over there and it's not really grass anyway. It's just AstroTurf, And do you know that person? Because I loved him anyway and encouraged him to do the best he could for his family, and that it would be an honor for me to compete with him. He actually came back to my company and said, "Hey man, if you'll take me back, I had it so good here. And a lot of times, and I took him back. And a lot of times in baseball, same thing happens. You know, you get traded to a team and you wish you were back where you were. And so a lot of times in business, you know, as I was saying earlier, that 1 percentage point can make you a superstar player. You know, I'll give it to you another way. In the baseball in the big leagues, you can fail 7 times out of 10. In other words, you can strike out 7 times out of 10, or you can get 3 hits out of 10 and still make the Hall of Fame, hitting 300. Isn't that amazing? Babe Ruth, they used to say Babe Ruth struck out more, but he hit more home runs than anybody, right? A long time ago. And so it's about the percentages also in business. You know, in baseball, if you can get 3 hits out of 10 and make the Hall of Fame, how about business? Well, business doesn't always work exactly like you want it to work either. And so you got to be able to shift and hit the different pitches, as they say. You got to be able to shift when the market changes. Let's just take something like the trucking business today. You got to shift because fuel prices are going up. You know, how are you going to remain profitable? Well, you have to build that in to your cost of doing business, or you go out of business. And so that happens in every business. And so you have to count your cost, and you have to, as I was saying, have the right people on the right place on the team to be as good as your team can be. And then when you have people in baseball, it's a batting order: who bats first, who bats second, who bats third, who bats cleanup, who bats fourth. All of these things. What pitcher pitches in the first game? Which one pitches the second game of the series? It's all decisions based on the best order and the best organization for your team and for your business. Putting people in the right order in your business, in the right place where not only the business flourishes, but the individual flourishes. You know, if you put an accounting person in sales in a business, they probably wouldn't flourish. But you take that accounting person and put them in accounting and give them some responsibility, boy, they flourish. It's just so cool to watch. Tom, have you seen some of this?
You know, absolutely. I see it all the time. You know, being in sales myself, it's all about positioning your people, positioning everything, and having a clear communication with your people about what the game plan is all about. You know, because you have quotas to meet that need to be met. You've got to come up with a game plan. You got to come up with a market strategy. You got to come up with a lot before you even start the game, or even if you start, you know, working on the next directory, you got to know what the needs of the marketplace are. You got to know the needs of everything. And, you know, one thing that I think is very important is that communication among the team. You know what I mean? And the communication between a catcher and a pitcher is something else. Because not only did you catch for one pitcher, you had several different pitchers might even enter the game as well. So you had to know all the odds and everything and adjust to on a fly. So talk to me about that communication between you and the pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, that's done with signals and, you know, patting the inside or the outside of the leg, for meaning you want it inside or you want it outside. There are all kind of signals, rubbing the chest protector. I'll give you, for instance, here's just an example of how it goes about. And it's the same thing for business. Let's just say the pitcher walks the batter and he goes down to first base and he's batter number 2 in the order. And you know, you've studied, he's got a tendency to run on the second pitch. He's going to wait one pitch and he's going to try to steal second base, right? And so you're looking over at the dugout at the skipper or the manager, but you're really looking at the pitching coach, you know, if he's got any suggestions for you to give to the pitcher, right? And I'm putting it in layman's terms so we can all remember it. And so the first pitch, you don't want to give the batter too good a pitch to hit. And then the second pitch, that guy's going to try to steal second base. And so what do is you call for a pitch out as a catcher to give yourself the best chance to throw him out and take him off the field. And so those are all the things that are going on from the catcher standpoint, communicating to the shortstop and the second baseman with the breast protector signal to know who's covering second, if there's a right-handed batter batting or a left-handed batter batting. It's very easy to understand once you've done it, but it's complicated to understand if you've never done it. Same with the business. You have to be flexible. Things have to change. You have to be flexible because things don't always go as you thought they might go. And when you're able to change it on the fly, you can call a pitch out and throw so somebody got on base. Big deal. We're going to throw him out if he tries to steal. We're going to take him off the field. Same thing in business. So what if fuel goes up in the transportation business? What am I going to do? What's my reaction? Well, number one, I'm going to try to lock in my fuel price. And number two, I'm going to raise my prices, my fuel abatement prices, so I can survive in business, right? So those are all changes that you make on the fly. And you do that because it's just a natural instinct of having done it, Tom. Now, other thing I want to talk about is giving your customers what they want. Do you think everybody who comes to the baseball park is going to watch every pitch of every game? No, it's all about the other things that are available for them at the park, right? The popcorn and the Coke sodas, the memorabilia, or what the announcer says at the game that keeps everybody fired up. No, they don't watch every game. They don't know all the intricacies going on. They want the experience. They're the customer, for goodness sake. They're coming to be entertained, not only by the play on the field, they're coming to be entertained by the surroundings, the ambiance of the stadium. And so how about business? What are you giving that customer? Are you giving that customer what they really want from your business? Well, if you, let me relate it back to one of my businesses, transportation. Well, I was in the time-sensitive, temperature-sensitive business. And so we haul products that were frozen. We haul products like pizzas. We haul products that were fresh, like broccoli and cauliflower and lettuce and these things. And I would tell my customer, look, if you want your product from Florida to New York in 48 hours, I'm your guy. But it's going to cost you a little more for that kind of service. And you know what? We would guarantee it would be there, and we would be able to charge for that service because we perform that service well. And so you give your customers what they want, and you make them glad for having used you and your service. Does that make sense? And after a few of those kind of deliveries, when things were tight and they had to have the product on time, guess what they were saying? They were recommending my company to everybody, right? And so when you perform well for your company, or you're catching behind the plate and you throw that runner out at second base, people are saying, man, that guy's got a gun. We're not trying to steal on him for the next 7 innings. When you make that delivery overnight for your business and they say, man, if you want to get your stuff here big time, on time, in the right conditions, in the most beautiful truck and trailer you've ever seen, that's the company you need to call. And so giving the customers what they want and what they expect, and actually giving the customer more than what they expect, and when the driver steps out of the truck and backs that truck up and that trailer, the product in there is cold and you can feel the cold air coming out of it. And he steps up on the dock with the company shirt on and a hat and says, Thank you for your business. We appreciate you using our company. Now, that's giving your customer what they want. That makes sense?
Mhm.
So what do you do? What are you guys doing to give your customer what they really want in spades? In other words, you can dot the I and cross the T. And the way I did it was when the driver walks up on the dock to give them the bill of lading with the most beautiful truck and trailer you've ever seen, everything clean, everything beautiful, everything working right. Guess what the customer thought? Oh my gosh, this is a first-class company. These people care about my business. And the driver says, thank you, Mr. So-and-so for using us. We appreciate your business and look forward to hauling for you again. Well, number one, the customer's not going to find anything wrong inside the trailer because they're not looking for anything wrong. They're overwhelmed by first-class service and delivery, and that's what promotes your business, giving the customers the experience and more than what they expected when they come to the game. Isn't that cool? And so I thought I'd give you guys that analogy. The other thing is statistics in a business. You think people who come to a baseball game don't know the statistics? You don't think they knew how many people I threw out trying to steal second base or how many hits I got the night before? Yeah, they want to know all of that. And your customer wants to know how many times you've been on time delivering the product, or have you done what you said you were going to do in the past, and all of these things. And so I think it's so exciting when you can operate at a very high level in a business and you can create the kind of statistics that make your business grow and change. And then the other thing is, to be a catcher, you got to have a pitcher throwing a pitch, right? And so the power of the pitch is so important. So is the power of the pitch in your business, right? What is your pitch when you say to people? Well, I'm going to know if I'm catching the pitcher who's pitching that day, I'm going to know what he's got working to make us win. If his fastball is dancing and jumping, man, we're going to be coming with that fastball a lot in the early innings. But if his slider is like killer, we're going to be coming with a lot of sliders off speed pitches to keep the first part of the lineup off balance, as we go. And so the same thing in business. What is your best pitch? Is it a fastball? Are you giving the customer your fastball? Are you giving them your changeup or your curve? What is your best pitch to your customer? And I tell people all the time, the best pitch to your customer is simply the truth. Now, let me give you an analogy. I would hire people for my transportation company, young people, and I would put them in my operations center when I was sitting on the desk. And my assistant was an elderly lady who sat right across from me. And everybody in the operations center, there were 23 guys in the operations center and ladies. And if you can't talk on two phones, I wouldn't hire you. Right? If you didn't want to talk on two phones. If you didn't want to make $100,000 a year back in the 80s, working for my company, you weren't what I was looking for to work in the operations center. All right, now listen to this. And so if you did want to do that and you had ambition and you had a dream to do something great for your family, then you would come in and sit by me in the operations center and you would listen for several weeks to everything going on in the center. And it was an acoustical big room. You could see all 1,500 trucks in our system, where they were located, where they were, all the customers coming in. And the final inspection was that I would tell the person looking for the job after they'd trained for a while, I said, there's only one way you can lose this job. I said, you're going to make mistakes, and we all make mistakes, and mistakes are forgiven. You're going to make mistakes. Just like I'm going to be catching a game and their best hitter is going to be at the plate and I'm going to call the wrong pitch and he's going to hit a home run. And you know what? We're going to have to compensate from that. We have to score 2 runs to compensate for that one, but we will. All right. People are going to make mistakes, but you can compensate for mistakes in a business or in baseball. But what I told my operations center, the one thing that will get you fired, and I don't give 3 strikes here, is only 1 strike. The one thing that will cause you to lose your job, if you tell a lie to my customer or you tell a lie to my driver, any of those things, either one of those 2 things will get you fired. We can live with the truth. The truth will set you free. But you know what? When you're operating 1 truck and trailer that costs $130,000, you're going to have mechanical issues. I don't care how brand new and how pretty it is. You're going to have issues. And as long as our customer knows the truth, we can deal with the truth. As long as our driver knows the truth, hey, it's going to be delayed picking that up, but here's really when you need to be there instead of telling me to be there an hour before it's ready, kind of thing. When we deal in the truth, we're very successful. You know what? And I found that true in my athletic career. I found that so true in my business career. And to this day, that's the one thing that aggravates me the most. Just tell me the truth. I'm a big boy. I can deal with it. You know, give me the truth. Okay, great. I called a slider and he hit it out of the park, and I should have called an off-speed pitch. That's on me. But guess what? I get 2 more bats and I'm going to hit one out of here too, right? We can fix that. So, you know, it's all about mindset. It's all about mindset in business. And when you're dealing with people in truth and you're telling people how things are, no matter if it's a little bit painful, you just say, hey, listen, I screwed this one up. It's okay, but here's the way it really is. Then, man, everybody can get blessed. Does that make sense, Tom?
Absolutely. You know, and we have a lot of people in here that can add some value to the conversation as well. And I know with Tony was one of those, but Shamiko is at court today, and I don't know if she can get back on her mic or not. Shamiko, can you put back on your mic for a second? Okay.
I can, yes.
I had one of the greatest meetings I've ever had in business discussion when I sat in a Zoom with Shamiko and talking about her team. And she introduced me to the players on her team. Now, the players on her team in their own right are superheroes. I mean, are superheroes, millionaires and billionaires that are adding value, but they want to play on her team. Okay. And just meeting her team and learning what she does and how she operates is so similar to what you're talking about today. Shamiko, tell us a little bit about more of that success of that teamwork with you and that type of communication.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So, you know, we've gone through a specific training called Money and You with Dame Doria Cordova. And in that training, it talks about principles. It talks about working as a team, how to leverage, things of that nature. So, of course, you know, I come from an industry, retail and corporate management. I used to build Home Depot stores and distribution centers. I've done profit and loss my entire life. And so what that looks like is I'm a numbers gal. And so from there, when I moved into entrepreneurship about 9 years ago, right after that training with Money and You, the thought process was to continue what I did in building these stores. Of course, it takes a project manager, and I did logistics, and I did HR, and all the things, all the hats that you get to wear when you're in management and corporate management and all those good things, right? And so I wanted to do that in the entrepreneur world as well. And I took those trainings, the combination of Money and You, and of course, my previous experience in building Fortune 500 companies into the $1 billion, legacy and the profit and loss. And I said, okay, well, if we can do that for the community of a Fortune 500 company, we can do that in our actual communities, meaning bringing that information to our entrepreneurs, bringing that information to leaders in their own right. And I just love all of the baseball analogies, just so you know, Mr. Joseph. So what that looks like for me is when you play team, you get to play at a higher capacity. You know, solopreneurs are out the window now. What that looks like in the past is that we've tried to build business at a big and high scale, And I've learned along the way that it actually takes people that are very specific in their own right, what their superpower looks like. And then we've been able to combine that. So Tom had an opportunity to meet one of our designers for our magazine who does everything from scratch. She's actually working with people all around the world, Dubai, Mexico, different places. And then, as mentioned, I introduced him to a young lady who has worked with, Colin Powell, and she's built $1 million and $1 billion brands herself in her own right. And she is now our business development. She's our president of business development. And so what I learned is that when we take our own superpower and combine it with people that actually understand what their lane is, if I may, and although we all travel in different lanes, and I kind of, I might merge over here and then merge back, or merge over here and merge back, because I've been able to find the missing piece to the puzzle, which allows people to play team, which in return, just like baseball, everybody knows their part. If you're on first base, second base, you know where you're at, and you know what it takes to get everybody to the home run. And that's what we've been able to do in our business. And that's why we've scaled so quickly. So my magazine, which was just an idle idea back in August of last year, in 6 months, we literally have gone worldwide. The ability to take a TV show that had no systems behind the scene, no platforms, and we put all that in place in less than 8 months. And so the great part about it is I've been able to find individuals that have a specific skill set, and we asked them to join our team, and we allowed them to thrive. We want them to be successful in their own business, but we collaboratively did a business together. And now they're taking the information that we're teaching them on how to scale up and how to monetize, and then we're allowing that to move forward. And so this is crucial. This conversation is crucial because we haven't scaled at the level of which you have, Mr. Joseph, and other people, I'm clear, that are here. But we took a simple concept, and in less than 8 months, we've been able to get in front of massive amounts of people. And now moving back to the behind the scenes, we're trying to find what are we missing as a team. And that's why we're here. I am here so that I can not only learn more, continue to collaborate and do more business, but more importantly, add others either to our team, or we join your team, or whatever that looks like in the near future. Because for me, this is bigger than us. There's a lot of people out here that we know could utilize a lot of our talents. And so the faster we could get to the masses, the faster you could get to your goal, your vision, your focused, future opportunity, whatever that looks like for you. And then 2, it just allows me to learn more, because, here in my 50s, I want to expand more and I want to help more people. But again, I know it's bigger than me, and there's more than enough out here for everybody. That's my philosophy. So I will be quiet. I thank you for allowing me to jump in here, Tom, and we will be going back into session in about 15 minutes. So I just wanted to give you guys that upfront.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to say this, you see on this screen today, you see people you can add to that team. I'm telling you right now, Joseph Land adding to your team. Oh my goodness. You wouldn't begin to imagine. There's Justin A. Justin over there is SEO guy. He's my guy. He's Joseph. I brought him on to the Ask Joseph Land and Joseph Land. And there's no better than him, man. I'm telling you, with social media and SEO and pay-per-click, he took Joseph Land's brand in 2 weeks and made it a world-class brand. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I mean, right?
Number one.
Wow.
And then you got Mark and you got Doris.
We definitely need that in our life.
Well, you got it. You got it. He's coming to your team. Okay. Also, you got Mark and Doris, and they're the graphics people and everything else behind what goes on the show. And they're out of Philippines, right? Am I right? Where are you guys out of? Mark?
In the Philippines, yes. Halfway around the globe.
Yeah, you talk about graphic designers and putting things together and making things work and video and everything else. They're the top of the top and the notch of the notch. I can't ask. Man, they're phenomenal. I'll introduce you to them. But there's other people on like Tony and Dave. And oh my goodness, you're sitting in a room of greatness right now. And I'm telling you that right now. Latch onto them. So how about coming on and join the Ask Joseph Land Insiders Club with us? So thank you. Go to court. Go to court. You do
Oh,
your
I'm
thing.
in court. I
know you're in court, but I better
now
not,
here in the,
better not distract you. The judge
Yeah,
will.
they gave me a little private room over here. I think the judge likes me. That's a different conversation. He's like, oh, you got to do a Zoom. Yes, sir. Okay, great. Here's a little
Well, they
room
would-
over here. So
They'd
I'm
find me in contempt of court. They'd find
and I
me
ate
want
my
to throw
little,
me out.
I ate my little thing. But I definitely really would love to connect, and more importantly, just find a way to bring the masses. You know, we seem
Yes.
to be moving into a lot of private groups with hundreds of thousands of people, and you know, they're always asking for connections, and they're looking for a way to learn at a bigger scale. And you know, we're just honored. I know that my energies and the synergies, you know, I'm half Japanese, so you know, that's how that works, and I'm always attracting people that come to that. And Mark and Doris, we actually have a young lady that's from the Philippines on our team, very prominent girl. She does all of our summits and some of our VIP events, which we have many coming up, and I love to invite you all collaboratively, especially to different events. We have some network events, we have ideas of VIPs. We're doing a lot of trainings, lots of things that are related to confident women. We have a huge confident women entrepreneur workshop that's coming up. So we're looking for more women to participate in that. I love helping people, and it's just in my blood, but more importantly, I love connecting people, because you know, what I do and what you do and what everybody does doesn't even matter if we kind of merge into each other's lanes. Again, there's more than enough out here for everybody. And we're finding that people are hungry for information right now. So I'm complete.
Thank you, Shamika. I'm so impressed. Great to have you on our show today. And I look forward to connecting with you. And absolutely, anything I can do for you, I'm here to do it. And God bless you. And thank you for being here today. I'm so impressed.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Tom, I want to give one more analogy. And Shamika just hit it with me. You know, comparing baseball to business, here she is, she's building something really special, but it's not always glamorous. What you see at the game is glamorous, man. You got on your team's uniform, but the work you did to get there, the work you did when nobody was watching, the wind sprints you ran, the times you were in the batting cage till your hands hurt hitting balls, the times you had on your chest protector and face mask and somebody was throwing balls in the dirt so you could see if you could stop them one after one after one. Those times aren't glamorous. But when you step on the field of play and you got your team's uniform on, that's what people see. But what you do when you're grinding that nobody sees is what makes you step on that field. Isn't that cool? And I want to tell you, man, every day is a new day in baseball, in business. Every day is a new day that everybody can just be the best person they can be and be a blessing to others. You know, my whole thing is, and don't be offended by this, but Jennifer and I don't have to do this, but this is my calling. There's a difference in what your gift is, in my view, and what my calling. Baseball was my gift, but baseball was not my calling. I mean, I can't do baseball at my age, but my calling right now is to be a blessing to people and to teach them what I know. And some of the things I've learned along the way, even from baseball, right? And so is it easy for me to start the Ask Joseph Land Insiders Club? No, it's not. It's different for me and it's new. And it causes me to stretch and grow and come beyond myself. It's not like doing a financial deal or, some of the other things that are second nature to me. This is me stretching, knowing that if I do my best, God will send me the people I'm supposed to get. Simple as that. And same with you. If you're doing your best and you're where you're supposed to be, and you're doing your absolute best, and you're treating people with dignity and respect, and you're encouraging people who need encouragement and all of those things, you can expect the blessing. I'm gonna guarantee it. So, Tom, I tell you, I'm fired up about our Ask Joseph Land show. I'm fired up about our Insiders Club and the people that are coming here because of people like you who are actually my catcher. You're actually quarterbacking this team. And it's just brilliant to see how you do things, how you operate, how you think, your mindset. And if anybody can learn anything from this call today, I want you to just see the mindset Tom Chester has. He's amazing. He nothing defeats him. He's a winner. He knows he's a winner, and he plays to win. And so when I'm talking to him at 9 o'clock this morning, or 9 o'clock Friday night, or whenever I'm talking to this man, he raises my game a whole new level. And that's why it's important to have someone that you can talk to who loves you and respects you and cares for you and can help raise your game a whole new level, whether you're playing baseball or you're in business or you're working for a company. That kind of person can help you become all that you're designed to be and all that you want to be. So Tom, I'm going to kick it back to you.
We have people on the show today, and I know that a lot of minds are turning, and I know there's probably questions that need to be asked and comments that need to be made. And I want to open it up right now. Anybody raise your hand, turn your mic on, and add something to the show. I know, like Tony, pastoring, there's no harder job than directing the traffic of a congregation and dealing with people on individual. It's a massive amount of work. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. So Dave, anybody, just let's have some conversation. What do you think? And add some value to the show today. Tony, you got your mic on. Come on.
One of the things that Joe mentioned was being honest, telling the truth. And he said, I'm a big boy, I can handle it. I love that. And that's what I want people to do in my life. Really probably a couple decades ago, I was at a seminar, business seminar actually, and I heard this sentence, and it resonated with me, and I've never forgotten it, and it motivates me. And this is the sentence: people of integrity expect to be believed, and when they are not, they let time prove them right. People of integrity expect to be believed, and when they are not, they let time prove them right. And the reason why that motivated me is because I kind of launched out. I've been in areas that were risky for me, so to speak, in serving people, and where people could misjudge you, et cetera, et cetera. But over a period of time, they find out who you are and what you stand for. And then once that trust is created, Stephen 𝐉𝐻𝐾𝐇 wrote a book called The Speed of Trust. When people trust you, everything speeds up. Everything speeds up. They don't analyze everything you say. They act on it because they know that you're telling the truth. I want to tell one story here real quick, and then I'll try to be quiet. I received I was the director of church and university relations here at the university. And I started a program that was really supported by donors. And a gentleman showed up at a church where one of my students were speaking, preaching, and he started asking folks, how does this work? How do you support this? What's your budget, et cetera, et cetera? Well, they answered some questions, and they said, hey, do you want me to connect you with my vice president? He said, no, I'll just send a check. Well, about a month later, I get a check for $10,000 from this gentleman. And, but I could tell over the next 2 years, there was no communication. They didn't want to communicate. They might respond to an email, but they did not want to communicate. Next year, I got a $10,000 check again. And after a couple of years of this, I just had this, I felt, Joe, I feel like it was the Holy Spirit. That was just, I felt this unction to get in the car and drive 4 hours to the corporate office where this guy was president and CEO of a major insurance company. So I got my suit and tie on. I drove up there 4 hours, the risk of wasting time. I walked in, I gave my card to the receptionist, and I said, hi, I'm Tony, Fight Master. I'm here to see so-and-so. She looks at me, she looks at the card. She said, do you have an appointment? I said, no, I don't. She said, okay, have a seat over here. And I sat there for 15 minutes, and a lady came down. I could tell she was his executive secretary. executive assistant, and she said, I'm sorry. And she mentioned his name. He's in a meeting. Can I help you? I said, well, I understood that I probably would not be able to see him, but I just wanted to drop this off. I gave her a Christmas card from students. There was a plaque there that because he had given so much, we wanted to honor him. But the most important thing was I gave him a portfolio of evaluations on our students that we were sending out, which was what he was supporting, this ministerial development program. And I got in my car and I started driving 4 hours back. About an hour later, Tom, my phone rang, and it was this gentleman. He said, Tony, I'm sorry I couldn't meet with you. Again, we're talking about the president and CEO of a major corporation apologizing to me that he couldn't meet with me. He said, this plaque's nice, but man, I really appreciate this portfolio. You give money and you trust God, and then he just stopped. He said, I just want you to know I'm going to keep supporting. Well, the next year, the donation was $25,000. The year after that was $25,000. And to date, that gentleman and his wife have given $4.5 million to the university. And we continue to get money from them to support this ministry. And what am I talking about here? I'm talking about stewardship of people's whatever it may be money in this situation, but in other situations it may be their integrity, their self-worth. It may be their image. Handling people properly, stewarding everything that people allow us to have to collaborate with us. If we steward resources well and really treat people right, it's amazing how the leverage will go into a much bigger picture than what we might have thought in the first place. So $10,000 became 4.5 million over a short period of time. And it all goes back to what Joe said about integrity.
It's about relationship equity. In the situation of you bringing that to point is the stewardship of people. You know what I mean? We talk about our stewardship to God, but our stewardship to people also measures out the success of what we are involved in. And you manage that. And you manage that. And you manage that in a way to where they want to get more involved with you and your cause and everything else. And that's perfect, because a lot of times we mismanage people. And what does it lead? It leads down the wrong path. So respect the people you're involved with, and respect that, you have an obligation to them as well. And that's a beautiful testimonial. I'm telling you right now, and I love it. I love it. You guys are adding so much value today. I'm so glad we're talking about this. And then, so I know Shamika's probably got to go, but, Dave, how about you? What say you?
Talk about value. The last few shows it's just blown me away, and I really need to tap into this network, because this company that we recently took over, a few years ago, is so anemic in the business development area, and you all sound like most definitely all stars where you could help us. So I'm pumped about what's ahead of us.
See what Joseph Land created, folks. Do you see the power of the Insiders Club already? It's just not coming in and paying $19.99 a month. That's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's the power of who you get when you get into the club. The insiders that are inside the club is the club. You understand that? You are the power of what this is all about. And I want to say thank you so much. I'm not trying to steal the show here. Joseph, I want you, man, you're in charge here, but you got some great people. And now you're going to have some more wonderful people that are going to keep coming. They're going to come. They're coming, buddy. The door's just swinging wide open, and they're ready to come. They're just taste and see. And taste to see what you're doing is good, and taste to see what God's doing is even good. So thank you. Go ahead, Joseph. Take over the show, man, buddy. You got this.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. We're getting right at the 1 hour mark, and I like to keep this with an hour. But the main thing I just want to tell everybody today is, everybody has that dream in their heart. And I remember I remember growing up as a kid, you know, I wanted a better life for my family and my parents and this and that. And so baseball was that way, you know. But to show you that God has a sense of humor, when I tore my rotator cuff, baseball was over for me. And I had to get another dream. And that dream was transportation. And God blessed everything I touched because I used the same values and approach to transportation that I did baseball that I outlined for you guys today. And I was able to give my parents anything that their eyes saw. Isn't that cool? And to give them their dream, which was my dream. And God blessed me for years that way. So I want you guys to know that anything's possible. And I'm going to do things this way. And if it offends people, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to always put God first. And I'm going to always give him the credit and the glory because, you know, heck, man, by the grace of God, I've had any success I've had. And you will understand that too. It's just humbling to start something new like this with a little seed and to watch it grow into a huge global tree. And that's what we're going to have. We're going to create our own economy right here with the Joseph Land Insiders Club. You will be doing business with people that you met inside this club, and you will be sharing services and businesses together, and you will both be prospering because of it. It's called networking. It's called bringing like-minded people together. And so I want you guys to have a great week. Thank you for joining us here today. God bless you all. And we'll see you next week at noontime Eastern time on the Ask Joseph Land show. And thank you all for joining us today. God bless you all and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.